We have Grayson Partlowe on the line with us. What's up, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad you can get on. How you been?
All right. So it's fun to get back into it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody knows who you are, but there's something that I don't know how many people know. A bunch of people know, I'm sure, but then there's a bunch of people that don't know. And today we're going to talk some gear things, which is going to be pretty cool. Everybody likes talking gear. And something I wanted to talk about to start was your record back in late 19. So about 5 weeks before World Archery took barebow records, you shot a tournament and was
Yeah, I remember this.
yeah, and you shot a 579. So that sets the U.S. record, which makes the U.S. record higher than the world record because at the time it was ineligible. So what was the setup you used for that?
At the time, it was a 27-inch GT, long Uka limbs, Uka VX Plus limbs, pulling 37-ish pounds. Carbon Express Maxima RZs. They were 500 spine, full length, like 32.5 inches with 175 grain points. So, I mean, a somewhat heavy arrow, but
Yeah.
tune was. I could go back to it right now and I could set that tune up. With the GT, I can get a 32-inch 500 spine to just pound.
Yeah, for sure. 579, that's insane. That's just an insane score. I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to hold for a long, long time.
I don't think I'll touch it. I mean, I've done it in practice a couple times, a handful of times, but leading up to that, I was trying to shoot a 570 at a tournament. I shot a handful of 568s, one 569, and then it just clicked this day. I mean, it was surreal.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I was thinking about it the other day and I was just like trying to place myself into the mindset of like on that, on that round and you're shooting and you're just like that stress when you realize the number you're going to shoot. And it's like, I would just screw that completely up. There's just no way.
I mean, I kind of did at the end. I think the first half I shot like a 292, and probably 15-ish X's. So, I mean, it would have been a killer Lancaster score.
Yeah.
The second half, I think I shot what's the math on 87 or something.
Yeah.
But the second to last end, I was like, dude, I'm going to shoot a 580. That's insane. And then I shoot a 7. I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch. So, yeah, I shot a 7. Then I was like, all right, you got to pull it back together. So a 7, 10, 10.
Good finish then. Good finish other than the 7. But that's crazy. 579 with the 7.
Yeah.
Did you have very many 8s in that?
Maybe
or just mainly
one.
9s? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was mainly 10s.
Crazy.
I think I shot like 42 or 44 10s.
Golly. Yeah, that's insane. That's cool. That's cool to think and realize that somebody could. It's just insane. I can't do that in practice. I don't think I've shot that in practice. No, I can't.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
know.
just to do that in practice it's insanely tough.
Yeah, you can. I've shot above a 570s in practice. Those good practice days, but then it was just when everything was going good, and I can't imagine a high 70. There's no way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
shot a couple of 80s in practice. I know a lot of Europeans have shot 80s and 90s in practice, so
Yeah.
it's definitely doable if you're in practice, the right mindset. You can pound,
Yeah.
but even in practice, it's tough. Like,
Yeah, you got to be on it.
because
for
you're
sure.
shooting well, you're like, man, I don't want to mess this up, and then all of a sudden there goes a couple 8s or 7, or even if you're just not super tight with your aim, you're going to be catching some 9s that are going to keep you down. But
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, and that was with the GT, right? 27-inch GT, you said?
yeah, that was the year it came out. I think I just gotten it a month or two before. So it was early season. There wasn't a ton of pressure on or anything.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, I need to shoot a good score to get ready for Lancaster or anything like that. It was just kind of, let me go to this tournament and see what happens. I want to test out this new bow. and the mindset was right, and tune was perfect, and it just hit, man. It just hit.
Yeah.
That's an easy bow to tune, it seems like, or it was for me. And I'm not a tuner by any means, but I had a GT. It was a 29. Is that right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a 29, and it seemed like I could tune up pretty much anything with that bow. And I shot it well, but
Yeah, I've had no problems ever getting a tune off
Yeah.
that, even for field, 5 to 50 meters.
Yeah.
NFAA field, 20 couple feet out to 80 yards, I can hit pretty good.
Yeah. Is the VX Plus your kind of go-to limb on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've shot some of the Gilo limbs on it, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just comfortable with those VX Plus limbs. They work for me, so
Yeah.
they're a little finicky if you're crawling. If you don't have your tune right, they can get a little finicky. But if you have a good tune, I can crawl with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think people have trouble with the big hooks.
Yeah, they can get. I briefly played with some border limbs last year. I got right in, or early this year, right into field, and I could get a good tune on them, but they definitely it's pretty easy to not have a good tune with those limbs.
Yeah,
you gotta kind of be able to get in the weeds with it a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad I moved away from those limbs anyways currently. But yeah, so. And you pretty much shot GTs up until recently.
Yeah. I shot what did I shoot? I shot a Spig barebow early on, and then a CD for a little bit.
Okay.
And then I shot the Gilo G1, their original riser, 27.
Yeah.
Love that bow. I've still got 2 of them. They're great. And then he came out with the GT, and I've shot that ever since.
Okay.
Right now, I have a GT set up a little bit. It's just tried and true. I know I could pick it up and shoot with it.
Yeah.
I've got a GF and a Hoyt GMX I've been messing with.
Okay. What? How similar do you find the GF and the GT?
It's hard to tell this early. I haven't messed with it enough to really say, but they feel similar.
Yeah.
I haven't weighted different. I have a lot more weights on the end of the GF.
Yeah.
Because he's got the tunnels. He kind of told me, play with this, play with that. So I've been trying to follow his recommendations.
Yeah.
Vittorio's a smart dude, man. He really knows a lot. So
Yeah.
if he tells me something, I'll at least give it a go.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it, but I'm gonna give it a real run before I say I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I shot one briefly at this early year's NFAA Indoor Nationals, Jeff Ogilvy's, and it reminded me of, and it happened to have the Uka Evo 2, same limbs I shoot on my GT on it, and shot it a few times. And I'm like, oh yeah, it feels like a GT to me, but I know it's got a little bit more deflex, so it might point a little bit better, but it gets so individual with weights and everything that you can change it.
I mean, it definitely holds better than the GMX. Pretty similar to the GT. I can get them to hold really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I noticed the deflex.
Right.
Like they kind of say you should or would. It just shoots good. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a couple degrees or millimeters, so I don't think it's a true
Huge
game changer
thing
for somebody like us.
Right. Which brings us to you're currently playing with GMX setup.
Yeah, 27-inch GMX with the Axia limbs, a little over 36 pounds on the finger.
You have the foam or the wood core limbs? Foams?
Yeah,
okay.
foam.
Did you shoot the woods at all?
No, I don't have a set of them. I know these foams are pretty loud. The whole thing is pretty loud.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a shock coming from a GT to one of these.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, the difference. If you shoot them side by side, I'll shoot them down here in the basement, like an end with this, end with that, and the feel and sound is just night and day.
Yeah, they're lively. So how are you? You said the GMX doesn't hold as well as the Gilo stuff. I find the same thing where it doesn't. I keep saying it doesn't aim for shit. It doesn't sound that good. It's loud. But man, it pounds the middle.
Yeah, if I shoot an aggressive shot with the GMX, it pounds. It really does.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that keeps me shooting it is the grip, to be honest. If the grip was the same as the Gilo, I would not shoot the Hoyt, period. But I love that grip on the Hoyt. Absolutely love it.
Small,
Makes it hard to shoot the Gilo. Yeah.
I run in that same issue with my I keep playing with trying to get the like grip geometry the same to my GT stuff, because I can almost get a better tune off my GT than I can my GMX, but that isn't worth a shit if I don't shoot it as well. So that's and I'm not running into any luck doing it. So I'm still shooting the Hoyt stuff, and it's shooting well. So I'm, good with that.
So on grip, you're just talking about where it's placed in the middle of the bow, like since it's down further, you think, or the actual grip that on
diameter? It's so
the actual grip itself
it's thinner.
Thinner, a good bit thinner. Feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can really get into the throat of that thing, and it just feels comfy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The GT or the GF, all the Gilos, they just feel like 2x4s after shooting the Hoyt.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. How are you balancing your GMX? What weight setup are you running on it?
I've got Yoast weights on it and some disc weights, total of about 40 ounces. I've got an 18 in the front stab hole, 12 in the bottom, and then all the rest off the back. Okay. I haven't played with anything like towards the ends of the riser like I have on the GF.
Yeah.
If I keep messing with it, I probably will give it a go. But what I've got now works pretty well. Right. It's about the weight I want. Okay. I'm around 40 ounces also total, and it gets it to hold pretty good at that point. Lighter. If I run it, I can get a better reaction if I pull my top weight off. The reaction's a lot nicer, but man, the float is just big and fast. It's just all over the place, and the group's just open way up for me, anyways. So the float with the Hoyt is a lot bigger than what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of had to change the way I aim. I used to blur the target and just aim, look at the shaft, have that in focus. Okay. But it's making me too, I don't know, I just like panicky because I'm trying to move it in there the whole time. So now I've just kind of blurred the arrow and I'll focus on the gold. And it still moves, but you don't notice it as much. So it doesn't play as big of an effect on your mind.
Right.
So I've been going back and forth with that.
Okay. You cover the 9, don't you?
Yeah.
Or do you lollipop? You cover, I thought.
Cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If I lollipop, I'll try to aim it too fine. And if I close an eye, I can see it really well, but I'll try too hard. So it just doesn't work for me.
Okay. Yep.
I need like worse vision, honestly.
Right. Just soften it some.
Yeah. Maybe when I get older, I'll get it figured out. But
Right. Okay.
I have a hard time aiming with 2 eyes. Like I'll lose the arrow. I don't know why, but so I've just always went with 1 eye or 1 eye like really super squinted.
Okay. But I've seen people squint an eye.
Yeah, but the tip has always been in focus.
Yeah.
Okay, so you blur the target and focus on the tip.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because my vision is bad. I should be wearing contacts or glasses, but I'm sure that's a lot of it. But yeah, I've always had the tip. Even shooting a longbow, just with a gap, I've always had the tip in focus.
Okay.
So just different. I don't know. It's probably not as good that way, I'm sure, but I do get that away a lot of times. I lollipop it, and I have a hard time manipulating it in there a lot. So I'll try to aim too fine, then I get super panicky and jumpy, and then sometimes I'll lose one, or 2. It just happens.
Yeah.
I think if you could mentally manage it, then it's probably better with one eye. The finer you can aim, if you can mentally manage it, I don't see where that would be a problem. But I can't. I'll sit there and try to fine aim it, and I'll just tense up, and then it's a disaster. So
yeah.
3 weeks before Canada, I struggled with, especially in dark targets or in like tunnels, I struggled with seeing the arrow, and I was getting highs and lows really bad. And so 3 weeks prior, I started shutting my left eye, and my scores instantly went up. And so I now shut an eye, my left eye, and I cover the face like you do, Grayson. But I run a triggered shot. So I can set that thing right in there, and I'm shooting, especially now indoor, I'm shooting these 166 arrows. So I can line up just the edge of the blue around. And I don't know if I think I don't get jumpy because I run that grip sear, and it's working for me right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So,
the only problem I would see with that is, since you're running a triggered shot, and you probably know this, if your float is not where you want it and the trigger goes off, you're letting it go, and it might not go where you want it to go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I have that in wind. That's an issue in wind right now that I'm actively working on. Is you're just, the wind's pushing you around and you're just fighting it, but you're running the sear, and if it breaks, if you're just off, it's going there, and it's like, shit. So I think it's, one of the cons of it.
Yeah, I could see that on wind, or like if you ever shot on turf where you're like rocking back and forth.
Yeah, we just had a local tournament. Yeah, I fight that too. First day I kept on like kind of rocking back on my heels, and I was just like, ah. So the second day I wore my mountain boots.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any issues that day. So yeah, that's just, you got to be, because I can't time it, like in the wind and stuff like that. Back in the day, you could kind of time it a little bit, which isn't good, but it gets you through a windy round.
Yeah, in the wind, you got to do it
right there. Yeah, and I can't do that anymore. It's, so we'll see. I'm doing some things, and we'll see how it goes long term. Yeah.
What arrows are you shooting? Or are you still playing?
I'm still playing a lot.
Yeah.
I've got just a bucket of arrows that I think will work, and I'll just pick some shit out and shoot it here and there. But I shot a tournament last weekend with some RZs. They're lighter spine, 650 spine. They're a little shorter, a little lighter point. I've had some good practice rounds with them, and I shot good at times at the tournament. Had a couple of bonehead mistakes, and the first half wasn't great. Second half was pretty good. And then the shoot-ups were pretty good. So they'll work if I run a good shot.
Yeah.
I haven't shot a bear shaft out of the GMX, period. I just haven't messed with tune yet. I'm still trying to build some strength and get my shot together. So
yeah. How many pounds
it's
is
about
the
time
GMX?
to start tuning now.
How many pounds is on your GMX? How many, or your draw weight? What's your draw weight?
A little over 36. That's about as high as I can get it with these limbs.
Okay. 34
What do you
limbs.
run? 34 limbs?
36-pound limbs on the 27.
I gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the bolts are pretty much all the way in.
Yeah. That's how I ran mine mine are out a little bit right now. But for field and up until like a few weeks ago, mine were all the way in, and man, I liked it. They're just, I don't know. I'd order, there's the arguments like, well, I'd maybe order some 38s next time then, so you can run them in mid. And I was like, I don't think I would. I'd just get 36s and bottom the things out again. I just like the way it shoots.
Yeah. I think if I were buying them, I'd buy 38s.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a way to gain some weight out of that limb with like I don't know, you and John were talking about it a while back.
Oh, yeah. You
shim
can throw some shims.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before. I do it on all my ILF hunting bows. So, yeah. I mean, it works.
Yeah. You
can definitely add a few pounds. Don't tell your limb manufacturer, though, because they probably won't be happy about it. But you can make it work.
Yeah.
The moment I string a bow, that's pretty much out the window anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The way you do it, I can't even string a bow like that anymore. I have like PTSD from I was it was 2 winters ago. I have one of those Lazarev wood risers, those 25-inch, that guy from Russia.
Yeah.
I have one of those risers, and I was kind of running late to a league night, and I was going to take that to league night. So I was quickly just stringing it up, man. And I was stringing it, and I pulled the top limb out, and I punched myself in my ribs with the top of the riser hard, bad. And pretty sure I broke some ribs, and it was forever. And I cannot string a bow like that anymore. Can't do it. I'll break out in sweat and everything. I can't do it. Like I have to use
a blue stringer every time.
Yep, I have to. Yep. I can't string a bow another way now.
I can't use a bowstringer, man. For some reason, I get too scared.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know
dude.
what it is.
I
I'm
get
afraid they're gonna pop off the limb tips. I will not use one.
That's so fun. I forgot my stringer when I went to Canada, and I'm, at the hotel room, and I'm getting my stuff put together, and I'm like, "Are you shitting me? I forgot my," and I'm like, "What do I do?" And I barely could manage
Run around
it.
and ask somebody to string your bow.
It's like texting, it's like, "Anybody got a stringer?" Like, really, dude? You need a stringer? And I ended up doing it. I did it that one time, but it was like my wife was like, "I'll help you." How do I help you? I'm like, "I'll get it. I'll get it." And I struggled through it and could calm down, but yeah, it's sad, dude. I was messed up from punching myself.
It was
Oh well. Yeah, it was terrible.
I thought you got tired and was just like, fuck them.
I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, you froze and then you were gone. I was like, "Oop."
No. I'm not a professional podcaster, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
No, neither are we. Can you tell? All right, turn.
No good.
Nobody probably watches the video, I would imagine, anyway, huh? I don't really even know why we do
Yeah,
the
some
video.
people do on the thing. I can click through and it says so many people, but some people might put it on and then just listen to it too.
How many viewers do you guys get normally?
Terribly.
It depends. Like, we did one
We
with
put
them.
John on there. We get a bunch.
That shit ton, and then we talk about ASA 3D, and we get like nothing. We get like 80.
5.
We get like 80.
Man, I wish the ASA stuff was a little closer because that looks like a blast.
It is fun, but that's the problem with it is they don't really want to. I don't know. You know what? People don't show up to it, so it's like. But there's so many shooters down south too that you would think it'd be littered with or you think they'd have 50 or 60 people anyway. But
Yeah, at least
20?
local people. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
nobody shows up. Dude, that's so fun. Hunting 12s for 3D. That's known yardage and hunting 12s. That's a ball to do. It has me not even like wanting to do like on 3D ever again. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of unknown 3D.
Yeah,
it's already a hard enough game, even if you know it, especially with one of these bows.
Yeah, all the targets are different. I mean, I guess if you're really into it and you know the scoring rings,
yeah,
you can kind of hone it in a little bit. But I don't shoot 3D at all, so
yeah,
I'd be at a little disadvantage knowing where the rings are on every animal. And I don't know, if you knew them, you could come up with a strategy. This type of animal, I'm going to aim here, and I don't know. But it does seem like a fun game if you're into it and you have them close.
Yeah. And then you go to an ASA 3D, and then you can start calling uppers, and you know right what it is, and all the rings the same size, and you just go. It's fun. I wish more people would do it, but I don't know, for some reason nobody likes to do it. It's cheap too. You can go. I mean, $40.
Yeah, I think it's $40.
Yeah, I mean 40 arrows, but
and you can
get all your
shoot.
practice. Yeah, you can do all the extra stuff.
Do they have like a challenge, like the IBO challenge type course?
Yeah, they have. What's that? What do they call it? You guys do that?
We was doing it. It was like a known 40.
Yeah, it's 40, and it's 40. Yeah.
Oddly enough, most of the time, like better scores come off of that known 40 course than the known 30s.
Probably less pressure.
Yeah, I think probably just being fun. Yeah.
I forget what they call that though. I think they change it every year, just depending upon sponsor. Like GPO will sponsor it, and then
that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think it's that. Yeah.
I think Elite done it last year or something like that, but I probably won't go to many of those at all this year.
Yeah, they're not on my radar anytime soon, anyways.
Unless everybody starts going to them, then I'll go.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, are you going to Lancaster, Grayson?
Yeah, I haven't signed up yet, but I've got a room, and I'm going. So,
okay, I'll
have to take whatever line time is left. It's probably Thursday at 2 a.m. or whatever's the worst.
I'm shooting. I signed up for Thursday 4:30 this year.
I do like shooting Thursday. If you don't have to worry about getting the time off of work, it's nice to shoot Thursday. Then you have all Friday to kind of fix your gear, and if nothing else, you just get to relax and hang out. So
That's every year I go. I'm just like, I need to shoot because we end up driving out Wednesdays, and so Thursday's just a whatever. And I'm like, man, I should shoot this line, and then just like that, I can hang out and I can watch everybody shoot Friday, and it's not so damn hectic.
Yeah, and you're not stressed.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's just qualification, you're still stressed when you're shooting that thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to get it out of the way
sure.
and have a day to hang out and just bullshit with people. So
Yeah.
clear up the practice range.
Yep. So that's the plan. I think there's a bunch of people doing it Thursday this year. It looked like. I know there's some guys coming down from Canada, the guys that shot on their field team.
Okay.
They're all shooting, and I think you probably will then with the sign up, and then
I think John might shoot Thursday too.
Yeah, I seen that.
We were talking about that.
Yep, I seen that. So it'll be good. Good stuff. What you gonna bring the Hoyt, or you don't even know, do you?
I don't know yet.
You're gonna play right at 2.
I've got a little bit of time left to play. I mean, if I had to go today, I would take the Hoyt.
Yeah.
It's because it's what I've been shooting the most, and
yeah,
it's shooting the best for me right now. If I'm shooting really aggressive shots, if I don't shoot an aggressive shot, it kind of dumps them out to the left.
Why do you think that is?
I really don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's maybe a tune issue. I don't know if these arrows are just a little bit too stiff. I wouldn't guess that they are, but that would make sense. If I'm not as aggressive, they're going to hit a little stiff, but
yeah,
I don't know. I only have 4 of them right now. 4 brave soldiers. That's it. So I've got some more on the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to strip one down for a bear shaft just because I need a 4th if I'm going to shoot a tournament.
Yeah.
It's also making me have to shoot 3 spots, which I don't mind. I normally shoot them in practice, but the tournament I went to, I shot a 3 spot. So I might shoot a 3 spot at Lancaster.
So what's your preference? Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I aim way worse on a 3 spot. I'm scared of it.
I can center way better on a 3 spot. It's just one blue ring centers it for me. So it's nice. Doesn't wash out, but I may need the rest of the rings. So for now,
me too. I'll throw an occasional 2.
Yeah.
That'll happen for me.
What arrows are you gonna play with next? So you got the RZs. You gonna play with some 23s or some 166s or anything like that?
No, I probably won't shoot any 166s inside. But I'll mess with some tanks, and I've got some X23s, like 2312s. I'll shoot a little bit, and some Easton Sonics, the 6.0 diameter. It's similar to the RZ, I think. So.
Okay. Yeah, Demmer likes to run those, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're light. Should be able to get them to tune well. So.
Yeah.
I like a light shaft. That way I can load the point up if I want. And I don't want a too heavy arrow indoor, because if I creep a little bit, I don't want to drop out, which that can happen to me with the X23s, those heavy aluminum arrows.
Yeah. That's one thing that I have going for me shooting those ACEs indoors right now is, my vertical spread is just pretty tight. So
yeah.
I'm not getting anything too much out the top or bottom unless it's just a shot. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're costing me points. The other day I shot a round, and, I try to pay attention wherever I shoot. And if, if I shoot around, I'm like, man, that'd been 10 points. Maybe I'd rethink the thing, but it's a point here and there I can see maybe, but I can't even say I'd get a point, because with my draw, I can't just get a fat shaft that good of a tune. I end up sacrificing something, and these arrows are tuned so damn good. I feel like I'm making up for it on forgiveness. So I think I'm shooting them probably as good as I can, and I think that's just it. And they're just giving me some forgiveness and carrying me, so I'm running them anyways. But I know, Matt, you're running. I'm sorry?
You like those ACEs?
Yeah, I like them a lot. I actually destroyed my first one the other day, which was a bummer. I was shooting a single. No, they're not. I was shooting a single spot. I shouldn't have. I was doing nothing but 3-spot stuff, but I hate tuning on a 3-spot. And I was doing some tuning, and then I rolled into a round, and then I just kind of kept going. And I've broken a bunch of knocks now, but this is the first time I've crashed a shaft. Yeah. So back to 3 spots for now on. But yeah, I'm liking them. They're I shot a VAP a bunch, and these are far and away better than a VAP. You just can clearly see. You can just, I don't know how to explain it. You can just, everything's better about them, right? You can just you can feel the forgiveness. You can shoot and you're like, man, these things are just, especially at all the crawls before the weather turned, and I was playing with them for field stuff. I mean, you get a line and, on a field, you always have like 1 or 2 distances where the tune's just kind of like, but it'll carry you. And I wasn't even having that with these ACEs. And I never even got that crazy tuned with them. They're a good arrow. They're finicky I thought they were kind of finicky to tune on that Hoyt at first. They tuned right in on that GT for me. I don't know why I ended up having to cut 3/8 from the back. So next go around, I'll get some 570s. I got 620s now. I think they're a little weaks. So I'll go 570s next go around, and I'm liking them. I'm liking them a lot. I don't know if I'll switch to anything else at this point. That's how much I'm liking them. They're just super expensive.
Yeah, if I got serious about shooting outside, I'd probably get some, but I don't shoot enough to. Yeah, I'm not dedicated enough to mess with that. So
yeah, they're at Canada. I was definitely losing points. I felt I was shooting good enough, where you're just shooting and you're like, all right, yeah, that was a good shot, and that arrow is just flying like shit. Because I battle clearance issues on all my tunes, so I've got to shoot like an 800 spine VAP. If I go to a 700 spine, I get contact, and then if I make them longer for the clearance, then I can't reach. So 750 parallel would probably tune pretty good for me, but I still always get contact or damn near get contact. And then going to these barreled shafts now, I get plenty of clearance. So,
okay. You run your shot way out?
I both. It depends. I'm right now. I'm changing an anchor to try to get center shot to pretty normal, normal-ish, and I think I can get some more forgiveness out of it. But now I'm relearning an anchor. Initially, when I got these with the anchor I've been running for like 2 years, I was running shaft like 3 shafts out center shot, and it was. I'd have a good line if I'd run it normal center shot. I'd have a good line like 25 meters out to 50. Really good line. Really, really good line. But as soon as I hit 20 and in, 20 would go weak, right. Bare shaft would hit, but everything would be right. And then 15 and in would just be terrible. And like on the bunnies, I'd have to aim. I'd have to hold like left side of the paper to hit. And there's no amount of tension or anything you could do.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of running into that before the weather turned. And then I started pushing center shot way out. So the close stuff would hit. But then the far stuff was kind of giving me, they would hit good, but the groups were opening up. And I just started getting into modifying, playing with the modified biter springs. And that was clearing things up really good for me. But then the weather turned and I rolled indoors. So I've got all that written down so I can go when the weather breaks, I can go right back to it. But now that I changed back to a further back anchor, my center shot's in. So I'm thinking that I can run right into a modified spring, probably off my indoor tune. I'll just retune at 30 then. And I'm pretty confident it's going to be pretty close. So we'll see.
Very good. Very good. You're sticking with the ACEs all throughout indoor just to kind of get used to them, figure them out.
Yeah, I like the sight picture. I don't want to change that. And I kind of want to figure them out. I just want to keep everything how I'm going to roll into next year. I just want to, the weather breaks, hit the ground running sort of thing. And if they were really giving up points for indoor and stuff like that, I would not. It's like if they were super radical, I don't think I would just go to some of my other fatter arrows and something more normal for indoor. But
Yeah,
I've shot enough practice that it's like, man, I don't know. I'm shooting some pretty good scores with them. I'm going to, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I'm sticking with the fat arrows.
Yeah. The crooked VTACs.
Dude, they've been hitting good for me. I've shot better scores this year probably than I ever have. So, but I think they are tuned a little bit better. They're still stiff, but maybe that's why I'm getting clearance out of them.
What are they? Are they like a 475? Is that what they make?
480.
480.
Yeah, 40. And I think they're 31 inches long, carbon to carbon. I've actually got these cut down because they're what I ran. I ran a little bit last year, but I think I'm at 20. No, I'm at 30 and a quarter carbon to carbon.
Okay.
And I set up some with 120 up front, and then I set up some with 150, then 170 to see if I could tell a difference. And I just picked different days to do it and just kind of took just a average of what if scores were any better or groups were any better. But definitely the 170s up front just scored a lot better. They just grouped way, way, way better. So
yeah,
it was pretty noticeable. I mean, honestly, it was probably 5 points on average versus the 120. The 150 kind of was in a weird spot to where sometimes it would be good and sometimes it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
But with that being said, too, I'm not a tuner at all. Matter of fact, every time I get ready to do it, I have to call Ryan or somebody else to walk me through how to do it again because I'm an idiot. So
with the the 23s, I've noticed I need about 175 up front to get a good tune. I've messed around with some 120s and it just doesn't work out for me. Not with the weight I shoot. I'd have to shoot probably 40 or more to get them to work right. I mean, I can get them down the middle, but they're just not forgiving. Not like the 175s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What rest are you using now?
Gabriel Bidrop. That's what I've used for years.
Okay.
Their site is awful. It's in German. So, I mean, it took me forever to figure out how to navigate it. I ordered 10 of them years ago, so I never have to deal with that shit again. So I've got a pile of them.
I've never ran one of them.
So I've seen some slow-mo video of, well, obviously you're not getting the issue because it would show up for you, but I've seen slow-mo video. I've never messed with them because A, the site is shitty and it's hard to navigate. And then B, I've seen slow-mo video where the arrow's coming through in that damn rest because it doesn't stay down. It just comes back up and you just taps the arrow. And I'm like, oh, that'd be a tuning nightmare. But I'm sure.
Yeah, I would definitely notice that.
Yeah. You're not obviously not getting it. Yeah, you're not getting it. So
the only issue I've had is if I try to shoot too heavy of an arrow, like the X23s.
Yeah.
The rest some of them are a little stickier and some of them will fall a little easier. I have to get a sticky one to even get the rest to stay up. Once you get above like 500 grains, they just don't work very well.
Okay, and you can't adjust those. Those are just what they are.
They are what they are.
Okay,
I've got a green one that you could basically sit on and it won't go down. It's insane. And then I've got a couple blue ones that if you put a feather on them, they're going down. So
right,
I don't know.
Yeah, you use that for everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I do really set up a X23 to shoot, I'll go to an AAE or a SPIG ZT.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't do that often anymore.
Right. Yeah, your go-to 23 was always a tank, wasn't it?
GXLs and tanks, yeah.
Okay. That's a relatively lighter shaft too, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they're what are they? 6 grains per inch, or the CXLs were even less.
Oh, dang.
Wow, that is really light.
Yeah, they were 5.8 maybe. I've still got a couple dozen of them.
Wow, that is light. There's a guy, John Dawson, shot that local tournament with me at the beginning of December, and he had some 23s, and they were like 5 grains. They were an off-brand. I can't remember what he told me they were. Deer Hunter? I don't know. Whatever. They were an off-brand, and he was liking them, but they were crazy light. 23, and I figured
that
the
carbon's
wall
got to
thickness.
be so thin.
Yeah, the wall is like, Lee. I said, "Are you destroying?" He's like, "Not really. I haven't broke one yet." I was like, yeah, not yet, anyways. But yeah,
I think total finished weight on those VTACs, I'm at like 360. Oh, so it's still pretty light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a 170 grain point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe I'm lying. I'm gonna
You might
Google it
be.
real fast.
I don't know if you know it, but you might be.
Yeah, I think they're light, but they're not. I think you're pushing 400 with 170.
Yeah, you got to be over 400.
Yeah, 'cause mine. I have some set up, and they're 407, and I think I have 150s in them. I
I
know
mean, you might be just point and shaft. You've got to be like 360, and then you got your bushing, your knock, your feathers. I mean, you
Yeah.
might be pretty close to that, especially if you cut them a little bit. You might be right.
Dude, I just got a new phone and I can't find my stupid calculator. God,
Well, we got it all. We already got it figured out for you. You're about 400.
I'm pretty sure it's like 368, but I may be wrong. Because I feel like I just went over this like 9 times.
I think they're like 360 with a 100 grain point.
I'll weigh them tonight and send you a picture of them.
Okay. His
It's gonna
fingers
bother
holding
me
up
now.
on the scale. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've got a set of those I was playing with, and then some gold tip ultralights actually. And they're a grain apart. And I was shooting a bunch of rounds with those before just to see.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They were both hitting good. I was just getting terrible glance outs with those 23s, and this is a pain in the ass to deal with when you bend pens and shit. And I was just like,
Yeah.
So I was shooting those ultralights and pretty good. And then, man, you just shoot those ACEs, and I'm like, these are better. I don't know, whatever. For right now,
give them a go one day.
Yeah,
I'm kind of scared to buy a dozen of them and have the complete wrong spine and just waste like $400.
Yeah, that was dude. I bothered everybody for a while. I mean, I hit Vittorio up. I hit anybody I knew that shot him. I was just messaging, and pretty much all the Swedes told me to go 570s, and Vittorio told me to go 620s, and I went 620s. I should have went 570s. But they're working. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass because I have to, if I cut them 3/8 from the back and then, to line that all up and get those cuts, it's just, it's a pain in the ass, and I don't want to do it anymore.
And then you lose some of that taper in the back anyway.
The whole point is that forgiveness. Yeah, the whole point of that's that rear taper, and then I'm just cutting 3/8 of it off. That's the other thing. I don't want to do it, so I'll go to, and I got 2 of them in the tuning stage. I've got 2 of them that are cut more from the front, and then I got little extenders in them. So those are some of my practice arrows. So I don't even have a complete dozen anymore, but they'll get me through, and then until I want to pony up and buy some more in the spring or something, who knows? But yeah, I would say I think Demmer's got some coming. He's got 520s. So I think he had some 620s last year he was playing with. And he was doing some wild things like Demmer does, flipping them, shooting them backwards, and just trying all kinds of shit out, I think.
Yeah.
And he said they weren't no good for him. But I think they were. I think you start turning them around, those tapers get funny and everything else. Yeah. I think he might have been getting into something like that. So what do you have any?
I still got a dozen or so of the Nano Pro Extremes 50 spine, and they're just money. If they still made them, if Carbon Express still had their act together, I thought they had the best arrows for barebow. With the tanks, the RZs, and the Nanos, like you had a little bit for everything.
Yeah.
And those Nanos are good.
Yeah, I've read a lot about them, and I know Vittorio speaks highly of them. There's another guy that he's active on some of the forums that was on the 04 Olympic team. He speaks highly of them. And
Megara?
Yep. And a lot of the testing and stuff like that. And they're kind of regarded as probably the best carbon arrow ever made. And it's a bummer that nobody makes, even if somebody would make a version of it now, like their take on it. I think that'd be, but I don't know, get barebow people to spend, $400 on them. set of arrows is not very many people do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money for
it is.
not a lot of return.
Yeah.
So I can see why people VAPs.
Yeah. But the same people that complain about that will buy a new bow or new limbs every year.
True.
It's like, but the arrow is pretty important, folks. Let's get a nice arrow. But
yeah. When you think about it like that, people do complain about the price of arrows, but they'll buy new bows and limbs. They'll spend thousands to go to a shoot. Like, dude, just if you want the arrows, just buy them. It's one of the better investments you can make.
Yeah, if you go from, and maybe, right, but like I went from a VAP to an ACE and scores went right up. But if I went to the other set of limbs, my scores ain't going to go up.
No.
There's going to be a perceived feeling maybe. Oh, they feel better. But, so the arrow actually made me shoot better. So, yeah, but you got to be at a certain point, so whatever.
Well, now you're having me rethink my whole arrow situation. I probably had the worst arrow ever made.
Dude, all mine are bent.
Mine are too. They wobble when I spin them.
They're terrible. Yeah. No, they're all right. They're cool, I guess.
I shot those little Partlowe Pros last year in I think I shot them in a 570. And dude, I shot really well with those. I mean, I shot really well with them, and it was a pretty inexpensive arrow for what it is. I think they're $240 maybe. Yeah, it was reasonable. And the guy that I shoot with back here, he I think he bought like that arrow in every spine ever, and then decided on not shooting them. So he gave them. I have like 14 different spine ranges now, so I fiddled around with both of them. But the 570s worked out pretty well with like 38 and a half pounds or so for me. But I shot them for indoor nationals last year and got beat out by Zach for the last match, I guess, or whatever. And it was like that's why I shoot a fat shaft, actually. Because it was so close. Yeah. He beat me by 1 point. It was super duper close.
Yeah.
But it's a mental thing with me. I just can't shoot a 166 or smaller inside.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to until this year. I haven't been able to every year.
Even though I'm not.
Yeah. And
I should have just as good as scores with those 166s for sure, in practice and everything. But, every time you're close to one, you're like, golly.
Yeah, exactly.
Why wouldn't I have that? I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you probably lose some with the fat shafts on forgiveness and stuff. So I'm sure it's a wash. But when you see that 166, it's like a millimeter out. You're like, mother effer.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm shooting consistently higher practice scores now than I ever have. So I don't know. I'm getting better though. So there's that. So we'll see.
What have you been shooting?
Practice scores?
Yeah.
550s plus, getting into the 60s, low 60s.
Good spot to be.
Yeah. I can't. There's a big jump from tournament to practice scores for me still with this triggered shooting stuff. So my plan is to shoot a lot and get those practice scores as high as I can. So my point drop isn't so bad. But the scoring thing for me gets to be a downward spiral sometimes because it kind of sets like an expectation. Like this is, I think everybody gets into that. It's a slippery slope where if you get off pace, but you have to have that realization that's like, well, I try to use it as a potential, right? It's like, well, I know this thing is shooting well because it can shoot a good score. I know the tune is good because it can shoot a good score. I know I'm capable of shooting a good score. And then it's just the mental side to actually go do it. So that's kind of where I'm at with my stuff.
Yeah. I would say I'm kind of similar in a way. Like I don't really have the expectation of shooting a good score. I fight target panic so bad every shot that I'm invested in every shot 100%. And I know if I shoot a good shot, it's going to go where it's supposed to. Right. So I don't worry about the long game over the course of a round. I need to do this to hit this score. It's this shot has to be good. Yeah. And I don't know. That kind of keeps the expectation out of my head.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Just focus. Yeah. Just good arrow. Never mind. Well, if I shoot this a 29, I can be, yeah, it's, I don't know. I told myself this year I wasn't going to do any scoring. Well, that's completely out the window, but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do any scoring because I know myself good enough, and that score gets kind of weird. But you have to, because you got to know, like, I sent you those pictures that was a week ago, and I was testing some grips out, and I was shooting, those 12 arrow, the three ends with different grips. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you got to shoot a score to see where things are falling, and then then shoot rounds and see. It's like, well, this bow's doing this bow's doing this, and you can't do that without a score. So
yeah. I mean, I score all the time.
yeah,
I think it's important to score, or for me, I think it is.
I agree.
For sure. Yeah. I don't like
I know where you
shooting and
stand.
not scoring. Yeah, 100%.
yeah. Especially
I mean,
then if you get on your a good round, like you had a good round the other day, Grayson. And when you get to the end of that round and it's a good round, that creates that a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. Try to a lot of these folks are doing those live feed shoots and stuff like that to help get used to that pressure. And I think that's good training stuff people can do.
Yeah, definitely. Even in practice, if you shoot a good one, you get that feeling like, hey, don't mess this up, and you kind of feel the pressure. And it's similar, not exactly the same, but similar to what you feel on the line. So
yeah,
I think that's helpful.
That
and
gives
if
you
you're
drive to do better, next time.
Yeah, if you're testing stuff too, I think you need to score and chart groups. That way, what's going on the target when you change things, at the line.
Yep. Yep.
One thing I wish I did more of, I had the discipline to do, is drills. I used to do some drills, but now it's just, I've got 20 yards here in the basement, so I just pound scores out, and that's that. It is what it is.
What scores did you do when you did them?
Drills?
Oh, I'm sorry, drills. Yeah.
I would do some holding drills just to build up strength and, looking at the aim.
Yeah.
And getting comfortable with that. And then I would do this drill where I would take like a Sharpie or something, or use an old arrow hole and aim at it, use my 20-yard crawl from like 5 feet or something, aim at that and just let the arrow impact high. That way you don't have to really worry about looking at where the arrow hit on the gold or the target.
Mm-hmm.
You can just run your shot while aiming at something. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think people have talked about that drill before, but it lets you run the same shot, same crawl. You're aiming, but you don't have to worry about the impact. You're just worrying about executing the shot.
Right.
So I used to do that a lot, and it worked for me. So.
Yeah. It definitely works for you for sure. I don't know. I do drills a little bit different. I try to, all my focus, pretty much this year has been like the trigger work, to try to learn that whole process and just maintain everything else. And so nothing gets too crazy changed.
Yeah.
And there's not like drills for that. There's whatever people could, I guess, come up with. And I don't follow it quite like, obviously Joel, it's, a lot of Joel's stuff. I don't shoot a sear like he does. I don't, he talks a lot of, talking through the trigger, right? Like keep pulling. And I'm finding like a 50% success rate with that. And then the other train of thought behind it is, you mentally distance yourself from the trigger, where you try to link it to like a big movement, like an archery movement, like just pulling through a clicker. So you just try to do that enough. And then and I have better success with that. And I've done that for Canada and everything else. But it's not 100% either. I do notice on the shots that are really hanging up, or if I'm letting the aim creep back in, or if I've got a good end going or something like that, sometimes I have to, it's like, just pull, just fucking pull. And that'll carry me through the shot. And, so you kind of take these bits and pieces. But I don't have it down in stone enough where, I just know what to do.
Yeah.
It's all these little things. So I'm just kind of figuring everything out, getting bits and pieces, but it's coming along. It's just a long road uphill.
Yeah, I think the trigger road is a long road if you want to do it right, like what you're trying to do. It's a whole new thing to learn and to perfect. So I don't want to mess with it. If I had to, I would, but I do not want to touch that.
We were talking, Matt and I were talking the last episode about that, and I was like, if nobody needs it, like, don't. This sucks. Like, it sucks.
Well, everybody needs it. I mean, they need something, right? Because there's always a little hang up. Or
figure it out. Don't. Sure. If somebody's got like, well, sometimes the aim it wants to go. Well, I'm just going to develop. I'm going to go to grips here. Don't do that. Fix it while you can.
Yeah, sure.
Before you get so bad that you've got to be willing to take years off to relearn, and I'm not willing to do that right now.
And
I
mean, I think the sear thing is kind of and this is maybe controversial. I think it's a Band-Aid, really, to the problem.
Yeah,
I think there's a better way to go about it. It's more difficult, maybe, but the sear, to me, is just a Band-Aid for the actual problem.
Yeah.
Even with the sear or a trigger, like, it's always changing. Like, Joel comes up with a ton of different things all the time.
Yeah.
He's got new methods all the time. If like one of these worked, you would stick with it, but he's always coming up with something new. So I think it's just a temporary potential fix.
Yeah,
for sure.
We weren't talking, I guess, but something I was thinking about is exactly that. Is there's an element of sometimes when if you have and this isn't a knock on anything because it doesn't matter, but if you have something you're selling or you're promoting, there's always got to be something new, right? Because there's something new, and I don't really buy into that. I buy into, let's get something that works most of the time, or even if it works half the time, and let's learn it where it works 100% of the time, and that just becomes what it is. And that's why I've gone the grip sear route. Like I've tried everything else, and there's people that have good luck with the other stuff, and it's not, everybody can do their own thing, but I can. So now it's to the point where it's not the grip sear. It's just running it in it because it works 100% of the time if I do it right, which adds some stuff, right? It adds some tension in my bow arm and stuff like that. But I'm linking it to, sometimes I guess, there's could be the argument of like, so I can't hold on target and aim without my mind saying, go, right now. And it's bad enough where it's, there is nothing. And if you take like an Olympic shooter and you take their clicker off, a pile of them are going to develop the same thing. And, we don't have the conversation with those folks. Well, if you just learn to aim, then you don't need the clicker. It gets to be like this weird thing. It's like, well, it's okay for Olympic folks to have a clicker, but it's not okay for barebow folks if they need to develop a little step that's kind of like it, which it's not, but it's kind of like it. Just adds a little step to break it up, and that's kind of where I go with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would agree. It's a Band-Aid because the problem is I can't aim on target without that mind thing. That's the problem. So you got to develop these workarounds, or I guess put the time in to, and we were talking about, I'm sure if I took a year or two off of shooting tournament stuff, I could just completely go back to the basics. And I'm sure over time I could develop the skill set back to do that and be competitive again. I'm sure I could. It's just, it's like, do I want to take, I got some things coming up, but I don't really want to, not right now, maybe later.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just try to separate the aim from the actual shot as much as I can. Like, you don't shoot until your sear goes off. I don't shoot until I'm at a point where I want the shot to go off.
Right.
But it's just in my mind, I guess, instead of a click.
Yeah. Yep. It's developed, and I dabble every now and then. I'll get up close and I'll do holding drills and stuff like that, and I'll work back and I'll have brief periods of good luck. And then there's something there, and it's just like, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And then it's like, I got a tournament coming up.
Yeah. I mean, if it works for you, it obviously does. You're going to the World Games. So it works for me sometimes. It hasn't worked for me indoors yet.
at all. I've struggled indoors for a few years now with it. So we'll see.
Indoors is a different beast, man. It really is. Like when I shoot field, the target panic is still there a little bit, but it is just so low compared to indoors.
Yep.
You get on the line inside 18 meters, it's like I need to hit a 10. I should be able to every time. And that, I don't know, that tension it puts on me, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's there. It's I'm working through that. I'm working through it right now. The best I can. And, so I've got zero expectations for this indoor season. I'm just going to go do my thing and learn it the best I can because it's pressure, and I need pressure, and I'll get the most pressure at indoor tournaments. So,
are you shooting indoor nationals, USA Archery?
I probably will. I haven't signed up. I'll go to the Mason, Michigan one.
Where is it at?
USA
I think it's the multi.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Deal.
Oh,
it's the one. Yeah, the one you went to.
I thought that was like Louisville.
That's
it.
That's the one you come over to Kentucky, Matt.
Okay.
And then the finals was in Louisville.
Yeah. If it's,
and I'm sad.
If it's in, me too. That place was sweet.
Yeah.
I still have a broken knee from that.
Luckily, when we hopped on them, when was that, 21 or 2? We didn't get hurt, but so we had a house that was a decent walk away from the hall there, the shooting hall. It was just far enough where, like, after a day of shooting, you got your bag on, you're like, man, I really do not want to walk this. So I saw a scooter sitting there. I was like, fuck it, let me get on this thing. And John, he was the only one that would hopped on with us. Everybody else walked, but after they saw us, everybody hopped on, and it was just game over. We rode those things all over the city.
Dude, that was by far the funnest part of the whole trip. I mean, really.
Yeah.
My wife was looking forward to that. My wife was like, let's do it. That's fun.
Dude, it was a blast.
Yeah.
Where's the finals going to be at?
They haven't come out with the venue or the location.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a chance it could be in Louisville?
No.
I would imagine it's going to be in Chicago I don't know what the timing is now. When is
somebody said it was going to be at Vegas.
Yeah, that would make more sense because they moved Vegas back.
Yeah, to March.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I probably won't go. That's too expensive of a trip to do twice. No, I guess I'll still do it once, but I'll have to leave 3 days early.
Yeah, you'll have just extra time. Yeah, I won't.
Which that's a long trip kind of anyway.
I wouldn't go to that even if I managed to, shoot well enough to get in it for Vegas. I'd be out. I'd have to pass my spot on, which is whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, have you ever shot Vegas, Grayson?
I haven't, no.
No. Yeah.
No.
Honestly, I think that's probably one of the funnest shoots, mainly because it's just a more lax shoot, I mean, like there's still pressure and everything like that, but like you have a lot of time, you can go shoot, do whatever you want to do. Of course, with them moving it, I don't know how that's going to be, but it's a fun one. Going from Lancaster, like the first year that I went, and then going to Vegas, like Vegas was just a more relaxing tournament as far as just, you can actually just have a good time. Like I feel like at Lancaster, which I love Lancaster, but you're getting herded around quick. Like things are moving fast, which I like that too, because it doesn't give you time to, the year that I won, it didn't give me time to know what was going on. And I just got lucky that I didn't start thinking about it, like, cause after I found out I was going on stage, I went back to the hotel and took a nap, for like 2 hours and then came back and then we done the shoot thing, so I was like, never registered till it was all over with,
Yeah.
But I think so Vegas, the format for Vegas, I think it's different because Vegas is going to be like top score.
Yeah. Which I like. I like the
cumulative
thing. Too. I do too.
And then Lancaster's got, top score is something too, but
sure.
And then it starts getting into a lot of luck, man. A lot of luck.
Yeah. I think Lancaster's probably the hardest one to win.
Sure.
But it takes, I don't know how to say this right. Like, you don't have to necessarily be the best to win Lancaster, but you have to have a damn good day.
Yep, 100%. That's right.
That's the hardest one to win.
Yeah, because
it's too easy to get knocked out by a guy that maybe have never even shot a 270. I mean, and you're mainly shooting mid 80s. And good example, Larry Butler kicked me out last year, and I was shooting pretty good. I think I shot a 113-ish. I think he shot a 115. And as we were walking down, he was like, "Man, that's the best round I've ever shot in my life." And I was like, "God." Like,
perfect timing.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy for him, but obviously I would have liked to have been in the game there, but it happens. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think the year you won, I might have been, man, I could be wrong about this. I get the years mixed up. I might have been like top qualifier number 2. And in the first round of the shoot-offs, I shot a 118. Ooh. Smoking, just crushing.
Yep.
And then the next round, no idea why, shots felt the same. I shot a 108. And I lost. So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was
almost lost to a Longo, didn't he?
Almost, yeah. He's almost lost a lot of those.
Last year was wild for him. Yeah, he felt like crap going into that because I know he wasn't shooting great, and then once we got to the end, he was like, "Man, I have no idea how I made it through here."
He finds a way, man.
Yeah, he does.
He's good.
And then he comes in at clutch, at the end, just hammers through everybody. But that's the guy to do it for sure.
Yep.
But I don't know. They're all fun. So are you only planning on going to Lancaster?
That, and I'll do USA Archery Indoor Nationals.
Okay.
Maybe Vegas, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what's going on with the kid, time off work and all that. So
sure. Yeah. Man, Vegas is an awesome one. Or it's my favorite because it's like pulled, especially where you live. Where do you live, actually? You live northeast somewhere, right?
Virginia.
Okay, yeah. So the weather change would be huge because it is from here. It's pretty cold here, even in March. We get all of our like ice storms and stuff here in Oklahoma in March, February, March, really. But and then it turns spring super quick. But going to Vegas, it's like 85, super nice, zero humidity. It's friggin' beautiful. And it's not, honestly, the first time I ever went, I was like, "Man, this is going to suck. It's going to be trashy." But it was a nice place. It was really nice. Of course, I don't know about this year where it's going to be at, but
yeah,
I don't know.
What do you have? What do you have between now and Lancaster, Grayson? Anything local you're going to shoot or any?
I'm going to try to shoot a couple local tournaments. I shot that money shoot last weekend. I've got one I'm going to try to shoot on the 5th, and then one the next 2 weekends after that. So maybe 3 more small tournaments.
Okay.
But nothing big. There's not really anything big going on before Lancaster. So
yeah,
I need to get the GMX on the line a little bit to see if the issues I have or had this past weekend are like a forgiveness issue under tension. And if that's the case, I'll put it down. Because if I shoot an aggressive shot and it's not full of tension, it goes in the middle. Like, I mean, I'm shooting some pretty good scores with it.
Yeah.
But on the line, I kind of build up some extra tension, and if that's going to throw me out into the 8, then I'll just put it down.
Right.
And are those typically left, you said?
Left, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been dealing with actually, like the past week. I can move my center shot in even and get it. Then I'll end up hitting right, But if I shoot a good, solid, strong shot, they'll hit the middle. But if it's a slightly weak or my bow arm drops a little bit or something,
it shows up big for me.
It does, and it has for me in the past 2 weeks more than anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I've been able to tell really well because I've shot better in the past 2 weeks than I have in a while. So I just get super, I don't know. I have a little bobble. Like when I get it to the gold, I get hung up a little bit below it and I have a little bobble. But if I can wait till that little bobble's over, I can shoot it really, really well. But it's just a mental thing for me now, but.
Do you run a trigger or no?
No. Yeah, no, I'll run like a safety here and there. And I know like it seems like everybody's like, why not run it all the time? But the issue with me running it all the time is it will make my bow move. Like I can't move a finger without the bow wobbling just a touch. And it just I don't like that. So I went to just not running it at all. And that's what I've been doing for like 2 weeks now. So what I'll do is I'll draw back and I'll just immediately go get it aimed like quickly instead of jacking around with it or going slow. I'll just get it there super quick. And then sometimes I'll have a little hitch, to where even my hand will twitch like that. Most times I can control it by just being good and strong into my anchor. But, sometimes, rarely has it happened to where I've just thrown one now lately. But when I do have one, it can be pretty bad, So yeah. I don't know. I don't really know how to get around that. But I don't know. I think it's just, when I went to Missouri, they had a pretty good size shoot over there. I think I shot a 268 or maybe something like that. I don't know. I was pretty upset, honestly, because I was shooting it pretty good, like upper 70s most of the time. But once I got there under pressure, and there were some good shooters there, Zach, Nathan Shaw, there were some really good shooters there, and Spanky was there, and it was like, man, I just could not gather it up. Like I would have moments to where the shot went off great and everything, but what would happen is I would get like tentative. So I would get to where I would just, I would kind of lose track of what I was doing. And then the shot would go off and I would be like, I didn't even mean to shoot, So yeah. I did run that safety on like 3 or 4. And it started working. Like I got able to aim it. That was the issue. So if I can go ahead and get it in there and get it aimed, it's fine. But the struggle sometimes is lollipopping. You get hung up low, and that's where my misses was 8 lows. So okay. I don't know. And I gave up a ton of points on that, but I don't know. And that, Jeremiah, he struggled for the past 2 years really. And he freaking pounded. I think he shot like an 87, nice. 92 with 11s. He was shooting very, very well. He's still been shooting well. So hopefully he'll keep that up, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of a weird deal for me.
So when you draw back and you get to anchor, where's your point? Like as soon as you get to anchor. Yeah, so it has been low. Like I've started off low, but what I've been doing is a guy that I shoot with here at home. He was telling me the other day to come down on it, or like a week and a half ago, and I did start coming down on it, and it helped quite a bit because I would get hung up low on it, just really trying to fine tune it in there. And I would just get hung up there, like I couldn't really, and then I would find myself shoving, just shoving the bow after the shot. So coming down on it seemed to have helped. A couple things. Have you ever tried just putting it where you want it from the start? Like as you're drawing back, just kind of line it up and set it there. So that way you don't have to move it at all. I don't know if that's doable. That's the way I do it. But. So
I think it's way doable. And actually, funny story about that is I shot the NFA last year and I was having the same issue. Jimmy Blackman was there and he mentioned something about that. And I started doing it there and I was like, whoa, it's already there. I mean, honestly, as bad as it sounds, if I were to screw up and it went off, it was already there, but I'll try that some more because I kind of forgot about that, honestly. And that'll solve a lot of the wobbling around trying to get it to the center. And that helped a lot, actually. And when you just mentioned that, it just kind of popped back in my head. So I really hadn't even fiddled around with that, but I'm going to try it again tomorrow to just get it there immediately.
The only issue you may run into with that is kind of snap shooting, letting it go before you want to. So this is kind of how I shoot. I'll put it on the gold from the start. And, I'm drawn back, I'm at anchor, I check it, make sure it's where it needs to be, and then I'll run through a couple more things. I'll check string blur, I'll double check like finger tension, and then I'll just start pulling like I'm pulling through a clicker. And when I feel like the tension's good on my fingers, it's a feel type thing, I'll just let it go. And I'm like, I would consider myself like a puncher if I shot a thumb button. When I'm ready to let it go, I'll just rip my fingers off the string kind of. I don't like relax and they just pull through. Like if you see me shoot, my fingers, I come off the string.
Yeah, mine are the same.
It's not ideal, I don't think, but it works for me.
That's how I've done it in the past. I mean, at my release, you can see my fingers are super tensed up. Like I was obviously just letting go of the string, which I don't relax the hand or anything like that either, but I don't know. I'll definitely try that tomorrow for sure. That's probably what I need to start doing again.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. The other thing I was going to ask about is Well, which bow are you shooting? Are you shooting GMX?
No, I'm shooting the XD. I tried the
That-
GMX and I just couldn't. I don't know why, but that XD was better in my opinion.
It's got the same geometry though, right? The asymmetric with the top being longer.
Yeah,
What's your
it just
tiller?
seems much smoother, huh?
Do you know what your tiller setting is?
Yeah, so that's a weird one too. So I've played with that over the past couple of weeks. I don't know. So I was tighter on top. What does that mean? What is that called? Negative?
Shorter on
Yeah.
top, yeah, you'd be negative.
Okay, so I was that way. I went all the way up to about a quarter inch there, and I started kind of coming down, and I've actually ended up a little bit positive, I guess, probably by an eighth of an inch or so, which sounds super duper backwards to me that I should be.
To me
And
too.
I've got a huge
Especially with
crawl.
that riser.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I've got
huge crawl, that riser geometry. I would think you need to be
the other way.
3/8 negative. And
Okay.
if you're positive with that riser, it's going to exacerbate the feeling of not being able to lift the bow, I think.
Lift the bow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what Ryan, you were telling me the other day, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
I'll
going to
fiddle
feel
around
like
with
you're
that, too.
fighting it.
Yeah. And you'll get
Yeah.
a bobble like this.
Yep.
I get that for sure.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Go
But
negative and it'll go boop.
and so
Yeah,
the
so I
weird
normally
thing,
on the GTs or the GF, I'll run 3/16 negative indoor, and that works pretty well for me. And I tried to set up the Hoyt the same way, and it would not hold right. It just bobbled and bobbled and bobbled. So I took it down to a quarter, and now I'm at 3/8, and I might take that bitch down to a half. We'll see. It's
Yeah.
just it's a weird riser, man.
yeah, it is.
If
For
it
sure.
weren't for the grip, I would not shoot it flat out.
Yeah.
It's got a
Yeah.
couple features I like the string tension deal. I think that can drastically change the feel of the limbs. So
What do you
it's
shoot
got
that
some.
on?
At first, I had it on the smooth or whatever, but now I have it
Yeah.
on the aggressive or performance. I like that better.
Really? So
Yeah.
I've got mine on the smooth one right now, actually. And I could tell whenever I fiddled with it before, there was a huge difference between the smooth and the like whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference.
Yeah, there was a huge difference there, but I didn't really find one to be any better than the other. I don't mess with stuff too much either, though. But now I'm
Yeah.
going to tear everything apart and start over tomorrow.
Swap
Or
your
it's,
limbs over too. Try that one time. I like mine. My limbs are upside down. Mine's way better upside down.
I need to try that.
Yeah, way better.
It's
So
just it's overall a weird riser. Like I don't understand the design behind it. Like why would you make it asymmetrical in that way for somebody who's going to roll?
Yeah, it seemed
it's
totally
just hard.
backwards. Yeah.
But it shoots. I mean, it shoots. I would not recommend it to like a new person or somebody who
Sure.
doesn't know how to manipulate it to get it where they need it.
yeah,
I would definitely not recommend it to a beginner.
yeah,
But if you can manipulate things and troubleshoot, you can make it shoot.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I like it. I mean, I like that XD anyway. I had that GMX that Ryan's got, and it was a good bow. I liked it, but I kind of wish that I would have got a 27. But I don't know, man. The thing is going to a 27 in longs, like the string angle was like back here on my nose, and I would get my nose with it. So it was just a 70-inch bow is kind of where I'm going to have to live, which, I've got a fairly long draw. And on that XD that I got, man, it sounds, I'm sure if y'all think, how long is your draw?
29.
Okay. So I'm sure if y'all think y'all's is loud, mine's freaking terrible. I mean,
Dude, I don't know. This thing
horrible.
it's bad.
Do you have the Hoyt weight on there too, or just
No.
Ghost weights?
Yeah.
So that Hoyt weight did help. It helped the noise, but in that tiller thing, the noise actually went down when I tightened the bottom limb up, which was super weird, like substantially. I don't know why, or maybe it just moved the noise to the bottom. I don't know, but it definitely sounds like crap. I mean, the guy that I shoot with is like half deaf. He's only got one ear that works, and he notices it. So
Yeah,
he's shooting an old. He's shooting an old, like an Exceed.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
which it's
I like the
Exceed
Exceed
too.
It was harsh.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. He's actually,
I imagine Hoyt's probably gonna have a whole new lineup next year,
yeah.
I would
completely
think so.
revamped.
Yeah, I would think so. I wonder which way they're going to go. I wonder if they're going to do this geometry again. I feel like no.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would.
Yeah,
None of the male Olympians shot it.
I
right.
know that, which I figured that was the reason to doing some things that they did,
Yeah.
but I had no idea. But yeah, I thought that was wild that nobody shot it there.
I think
Yeah.
the women shot it, and they
Yeah.
shot it just fine.
Yeah.
But the men, for whatever reason, and maybe it had nothing to do with that. We don't know. We're just bullshit.
Oh,
But
yes. Total guesses.
Yeah.
and not
I
to
figure
knock on
it's
Hoyt. Their stuff's good, but this
Sure.
riser is just weird.
yeah, yeah. I figured it was something, you get those guys have, millions of shots on like Earl Hoyt geometry, like standard geometry. And then you give them that. And it to me, a caliber shooter of that is so in tune to how things are feeling.
Yeah.
That you just get to and you're like, man, this feels weird. I'll try, and then try, and eventually it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, their feel and the way they can perceive what a bow's doing is on another level compared to like me. Like them to me is like me to my trash can over here. Like they know what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And if it was different, they probably just didn't even want to mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they gave it a run, but after a while they're like, let me go back to what I know.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. And I talked to Brady a little bit about it when we were at Field Nationals trials. And yeah, it's kind of along those lines. It's just like, I don't know. And right then I was just like, well, this geometry's dead.
Yeah.
I would think so anyways. I wonder if they'd go the other way at some point, like Gilo.
Well, so the way they did it made all the sense to me. That's why I bought one of those bows actually. Whenever back a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense as a string walker.
Yeah.
As far as like an Olympic shooter, I don't know if it makes as much sense, but if you're trying to make it a more bare bow tuned or tillered riser, I think it makes sense.
So I remember, it's actually not. It's not made for that. It's made. Wasn't it something for the sight window for?
Originally, yeah, it was to get a longer. What I remember here, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember exactly what the story was.
Yeah, and it was actually made for that, and then it just happened to work out so good for string walking.
Yeah.
So and it's funny. It's like, well, it's a barebow riser. It's like, nah, it's not. It just works really well as one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, but. Yeah, I wonder, because the Tempest is that way. The Tempest is the same as a GT.
Okay.
But it has more deflex. So
how did that bow point?
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. That riser. That's probably. Well, the fit and finish is second to none on that thing. The Tempest is just on another level. The riser.
It just looks like crap.
No way. I think it's it pointed good.
It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
It felt good. I didn't like the bridge because you get limited on weight placement.
Yeah.
And
I don't like those types of risers. The like the greenhorn or the DMS, they just don't look good to me.
Yeah. And I don't want, you can take all the engineering you want into something, but at the end of the day, it's how I perceive the feel is what's going to matter. So I want options. I want to be able to put weight here or there or whatever I want to do and not get locked into it. And you just kind of get into that with a bridge riser.
Yeah.
And and I was going to hang on to it. I ended up selling all my border stuff off last year or this summer. But I was going to hang on to the riser longer and to give it a little bit more time because I really did like it.
Yeah.
And then it just got to the point where, I'm running a grip sear off a weight. And I was like, if I can't put a weight right now on a stabilizer bushing, then it's a no-go. So I ended up selling it to a guy from Australia. He wanted it real bad, and he'd take the full thing. And cool, he was happy. So
cool,
yeah. But the limbs, I didn't drive with those limbs. They felt good, felt amazing. But they didn't score good for me at all.
Yeah.
So
one thing I find with the after shooting this Hoyt now, the Ukas feel super spongy. Like at anchor, I feel like I'm kind of, fighting it a
Which
little
I
bit.
like that feeling. I mean, I shot those SX50s. They were just a cheap, but they were a little hookier than like those Evo 2s.
Yeah.
And I love those limbs. I like the
the feel of it. But I think after shooting the Hoyt, I would want more weight.
Yeah.
So I would go up in weight on the Ukas.
Yeah.
You can shoot more weight on them, but they feel smoother.
They definitely do, for sure.
Yeah.
So I might end up getting a pair of the SX Plus, their new ones, in like 40 pounds, just see what it'll do.
Yeah.
That's going to throw all my arrow selection history out the window. So
yeah. For in 22 for the 22 World Games on my GT I have the Evo 2 because I ran those things almost all the way in on a GT, which is insane. I had like 1.5 inch string groove showing on my limbs, which gave me, something kind of pull. And I like that. And that's how this Hoyt is. I like having, man, if I could have somebody build me a limb that looks like stacked 4 pounds at 28 inches, that'd be sweet. I just pull right into that and be awesome.
Just draw length by like 2 inches and you'll be right there.
Yeah.
Dude, because honestly, those Axia foams I got so they're 34-pound limbs, and I got them maxed out, and I'm at like 41.5 pounds on them. But they get super heavy, super quick. Like it's a super noticeable feel. And like if I shoot that, even that Black Widow or like the Satori with those Ukas on it, it's way, way, way different.
Yeah. I love the Ukas on a hunting bow, man. There's nothing like it.
They're great.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sweet limbs. But I don't know. Be exciting to see what they come out with next year. I'm sure there's going to be a couple other manufacturers too. And that Win and Win bow looks super sweet.
Yeah.
What was it called, Ryan?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't follow their stuff. I don't follow their stuff. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it's a good look.
It's not the newest one. It's the one that looks like a waffle.
It's the one Chrissy was shooting last year.
Yeah, it's not their new one, I don't think. I think it's an older model.
It's a good looking.
Yeah,
that's really what matters anyway at the end of the day.
90% is how cool you look.
Looks,
for sure.
Yeah. No doubt.
But dude, it's almost midnight where y'all are at, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all getting tired?
Yeah.
A little bit.
So you said you shot I got to go over this real fast. You would sometimes shoot a free flight elite, right? The AAE rest.
Yeah, I've shot it in the past. I've got one sitting in the bench.
So did you have it like normal where it would flat back out, or did you have the magnet flipped around? Or do you think that even matters at all?
I don't know if it matters, but I hate loading that arrow every time when I have to flip the rest out. It's so annoying.
It is annoying.
So even if it gave me 10 points, I would probably just not do it. So aggravating. No, if it gave me 10 points, I would do whatever. But
for sure.
I didn't like it.
So I got that Ben's rest. Have you seen that?
I've seen it. Yeah, I haven't played with it in person, but I've seen pictures and stuff. It looks pretty utilitarian.
It is
just straightforward.
Yeah, it's finished very well. Like the tolerances are super tight. It's not wobbly or anything. And I talked to Tim about it because I was having an issue with shooting those. And by the way, it's 398 grains is what those VTACs weighed.
398.
I wrote down on my phone. Yeah. So y'all are right. But so I called Tim about it because I couldn't get, like, I was getting a bounce off of that because that wire is like, if you're probably familiar with a springy rest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So like if you took their medium spring, that's what their wire is like.
Okay.
Right. So it's got some pretty good play and it's long. It's probably 2.5 inches long. So the wire's quite long on it. Issue that I was having is I was shooting a long or a heavier arrow with it, and I was definitely getting the bounce. So it was just inconsistent. Like my finger tension mattered a lot more on it. So I would have highs and lows a lot more often than I normally would have. And I know I'm getting a bounce off of whatever it is I'm shooting, but it's a consistent bounce. So, it is what it is. But I shot those Parallel Pros off of it and it was great. So I'll probably play with that rest a little bit for 50 meter or something. Maybe if I shoot some 3D, but as far as shooting a heavier arrow for my indoor stuff, I don't think I can make it work because. And I talked to Tim, and Tim was like, "Man, I shot a 500 grain arrow with it, and it seemed fine." I was like, "Well, but the thing is I am, take a Yost tab. I'm 2 marks from the very bottom for 20 yards. So
that's going to create problems right there.
Yeah, and he was like, "Well, I never even tried that," and I was like, "Well, that was definitely my issue, I'm sure, But so then I bumped the knock, or I come down like 3 marks, and just gapped it, and it pretty much cleared everything up. So I was putting a lot of things off on that, but it's a sweet rest. I mean, honestly, but I don't know. I mean, it'd be something to play with a little bit, I think
it looks pretty straightforward, well built. I just like the buy drop, and I'm used to it, so
yeah,
I probably won't try it. Same with the biter. Like the Woo Jack looks cool, but I know the biter works, tight tolerances. I know how those tensions and springs work. I don't think a plunger is really going to give me points, so I'm just going to stick with what I've got.
Yeah,
I tried that Whiffler last year, and man, I had bad issues with it. Like I said, I'm not a tuner, so somebody that's better at tuning is probably loves that. I don't know, but the magnet thing, like I had to put extra magnets in it and then pull them out, and then it was like I never could find a sweet spot. So I just offed them and went back to the biter, and it was just they're all the exact same. Yeah. I got like 3 of those, and every one of them perform the exact same way. Their clicks are precise with that.
Yeah, the biter's just good, man.
It is. It's a great plunger, But
it's got the different pin lengths. It's got the different springs, and you can even cut the springs, stretch them to mess with like a tune for fielders. You can do a ton of stuff with them. They're perfect.
Yeah, and they're no more expensive than anything else. They're all about the same now. I had that sniper or plunger too, and it was a fine plunger, but I don't know. It's just that biter's just simple, and I don't even tighten up those little grub screws to hold it.
Yeah, I never do.
And it stays fine. Yeah, me too. And it stays in fine. Like I don't have any issue out of it. Ryan shoots that goofy rest. I know he's probably dying over there to talk about.
No, it's okay.
The one I can't make work.
Sniper.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
End of the story on that.
Yeah. Well, it is a good rest.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just, for some reason, I just don't want to play. Is really where I'm at with it. I guess.
Wow.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's all right.
What rest are you shooting?
Sniper.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one, but I've never taken it out of the box.
Really?
Yeah. I think they gave me a tab, a plunger, and a rest at some point. I just never mess with them.
Yeah, I don't think you're missing anything on the tab and the plunger.
I love the tab.
I like the rest. Well, the tab leather is not even real leather, I don't think.
No, but it works good. I like it. I should have used it now, but I don't know. They're all the same to me. There's not a tab that I just love.
Fair weather.
I hate that one actually. It's too fat. It makes me shoot left. That's why you're like 14 shafts out of center shot.
I'm not right now. Normal.
Yeah, because even though you're anchored close to your face, you're really like this far out. That tab's like this thick.
Yeah. No, I like
you guys
the
run 3 layers on your tabs?
Yeah.
I don't. I just use them. Yeah, I just use that cordovan and that whatever suede that they have.
Fairweather. The fairweather is really thin, so the 3 is not that thick.
It's like goat skin or something, huh?
Kangaroo goat skin.
It's the same stuff.
I don't have one handy. Yeah. No, but they break in that kangaroo is awesome. You can get it and just put some water on it and shoot for 20 minutes, and it's like broken in. Okay. And then I just rotate. Yeah, I'll just take. I'll put a fresh leather on the outer face, break it in, and then I just kind of over the course of however long I just start rotating and maintain my tabs, and I can switch between them, and it's all good. But I battle that issue on those 2 fingers really bad.
Those fingers.
Yeah, so I got to tape up. But I went back to the Yost for like a few days here recently, and it's just not the same. Just so used to that fair weather.
Just got better, and you didn't like it?
No, I I don't know. It's just the fair weather's. It's just more secure. If I like the ring is the big deal for me. On the
I do
fair
like
weather.
that idea for sure.
So, but whatever. I'm not wanting to change that right now. There's enough other changes going on. So
you shoot 2 layers, 3?
3. Yeah,
3.
it's got like a neoprene middle layer, like rubber.
Yep.
And it gives me a little thicker feel. I like it.
Yeah.
I've played around with the neoprene. I use that on all my hunting tabs. I use it on every one of those, but actually when I hook the string, I actually pretty much just hook it on those first joints, and I like to be able to feel it in there, mainly because of where I do anchor is right here, and I can actually like grab a hold of my jaw with it. So,
okay.
But if I have the 3, it just feels too thick, and I don't ever know if I'm really in there. Which I don't have any issues with my fingers, like getting numb or any of that stuff. But I don't know. So the 2s seems to be working for me. But
I got you. You home with a recurve a lot?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I've spent so much money hunting with this stupid thing. I went on that elk hunt with Davenport and Colby Cox in September. It was super cool, man. Had an opportunity at one at 40, and I felt confident at 40 with that Satori, and I shot those Partlowe Pros, and I ended up not taking it. But man, I've not taken a lot of shots at deer because they were at 35 and 40 with a wood bow, and so I got, and one, Mike Davenport and Colby was, they were carrying around wood bows, and I had that Satori, and that Satori weighed a lot. I mean, I felt like an idiot for toting that thing around after I grabbed one of their bows. I was like, God, this sucks. Because, dude, we hiked miles and miles. We never stopped, I felt like. And so I got home and drove to Missouri like the next day and bought a Black Widow, came back home, couldn't get it to tune worth of crap. So I sent it back in, had them cut it further past center because I couldn't get anything to work. And I had them drill a bunch of holes in it so I could add all this weight and stuff to it. And basically ended up with another Satori, essentially. But I did buy a compound here probably 2 months ago. And I just got it kind of set up to shoot a little bit, but I only took it out one time. But I don't know. I mean, I went to Illinois to Davenport's to hunt a little bit and passed up a giant deer that I didn't realize was a giant till he was walking away. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've got kind of a rule. If I'm hunting around the house, so I got some property here, I'll hunt with a recurve. But if I'm hunting like public land or out of state, I'm taking a compound. I'm not. It's hard enough public land, especially out of state. Like, I'm not driving hours and hours and paying all this money to have a deer walk by me at 35 yards that I just can't shoot at.
Yeah,
no way.
No, for sure. And that's exactly kind of what I ended up with. And I told Davenport, I was like, because he was like, man, shoot whatever makes you happy. I don't care. And he may not want me to say this, I don't know, but dude, it's Jurassic Park in Southern Illinois on his farm. Monsters running around. Like I seen 170-inch deer just cruising around. I was like, I don't even know what that is.
What's his address?
I think he's selling it actually. So we'll have to hunt public in Kentucky now. But so and I passed up one of those deer, and I passed it up at 20 yards, and I was like, man, I bet that's maybe 130-inch buck. And dude, as that deer was walking off, I got a good look at it, and I was like, there's no way that's a 130-inch deer. I told Mike about it, and he was like, oh no, that's 160, mid 160s. I'm like, oh my God. But I don't know what that really looks like. I mean, I live in northeastern Oklahoma. We have giant 130-inch, 130-inch deer. That's about they get bigger, but that's common, Do you
think it was the body to antler ratio that threw you off?
Sure.
Big body deer.
100%, because here a big bodied buck is 150 pounds. They're a big bodied buck they're all bighorn really up there, but they're 250, 300 pounds. Yeah. It's just different. They sound like horses running around. Like, it was weird. It was a super weird experience for me, but now that I know, I'm taking a compound next time for sure. And I told him, I was like, man, I've never shot big deer. I've hunted public forever with a wood bow, and for the longest time I was a terrible shot. Only in the past 4 years have I been a decent shot with a bow, really. So I bought that compound. It's like an older Hoyt RX 4, 5 or something like that. But and oddly enough, I don't shoot it way better than my bear bow, like indoor scores. So maybe I just suck at all of them, but I don't know. But I'll definitely be taking it to Colorado, at least to get an animal down, and then I'll play, as far as wood bow stuff. But I want to shoot a nice whitetail for sure. So, and I don't care if I do a compound or whatever.
Yeah, I've killed a good number of like 120s on public land, and here and in Ohio and stuff. This year I went to Ohio and killed a 120 there. And when I came back home, I was like, I'm not shooting another one of those until I shoot something good. Yeah. I passed up a bunch of the same type of deer. I just never got an opportunity. So yeah, I think if I had some success and killed, a 140 or 150 with the compound, maybe I would take the recurve out and try and do it. But until I have that success under my belt, I don't want to miss the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I'm at. Because even the first year I went to Colorado, I took a wood bow with me up there, and honestly, I had multiple opportunities at 45 yards. That would have been a no-brainer. And honestly, I felt good at 45 with my Satori, but man, it was just underweight for shooting that far. Yeah. And I wasn't confident that that it would go, I wouldn't get very good penetration, but I don't know. So I'm just totally going in with a compound next year, and I'm going to hit it hard because, man, I've missed opportunity at good bucks, even in Oklahoma, 140s, even 150s at 35 yards, the shot that I should take with a compound all day.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
It sucks. And, and the public land is a work, it's like you spend so much time doing that. I mean, I don't know. So I won't be ashamed at all to shoot anything with a compound at all.
No,
not even a little bit.
Nope.
So I'm looking forward to that. Really, it'll take a little bit of weight off my shoulders, taking something that I know, going into it with a little more confidence.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think the preparation and just getting out there with a couple friends, my brother, that's the fun part to me anyway.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Just the process of it.
Yeah. So. Dude, like that. And that elk hunt, that was the best hunt I've ever been on in my life, with Mike and Colby. And, I don't know have you ever met Colby Cox?
Yeah. Shot with him Nationals one year. We were on the final bail.
Okay.
I think, Ryan, you were on that bail too, right? Or you were right next to me. I know we shot next to each other.
Yeah, I was next to you.
Yeah, he's a
good dude.
That guy's he's super cool, man. And he's a freaking mountain goat. Like I'd lost probably like 35 pounds over the past year to go up there. And I was like, I'll smoke this out. There's no way. He's just going to run off and leave me. But he absolutely would have. There's no, I know he's not a huge guy, but even Mike, he was like, dude, this guy is different, and he is. His wife, Rachel, she warned us about it. She's like, he won't stop. Like, he will keep going. You're going to have to say something. And dude, we got up halfway up this giant mountain, and I tried to take a video of Davenport behind me, and I slipped and fell on a giant log. And it's a cool story. We'll have to get them on here at some point and kind of talk about that because it was super fun. But yeah, the preparation leading up to all that, and then just hanging out was better than the hunting, in my opinion. I mean, it's just a fun time. So that's a big part of it anyway. And I don't like to hunt alone anymore. I've kind of got to where I just want to hunt with friends and just have a good time rather than I'm kind of over the whole, I'm going to spend every waking moment scouting and hunting public, and it's still fun and I'll do it, but I just have a better time doing it with people.
I agree.
So, well, fellas, been on here for 3.5 hours now, so Grayson got to take a couple breaks. Anything to add, Ryan?
What?
Anything to add, Ryan?
No. Nope.
Nope. All good.
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude,
thanks for having me. I'll see you guys later.
See you. Stay on here for just a second.